Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Tracy was ready an hour early, which is the opposite of most women who are almost always late and rush around looking for an earring at the last minute. But she had been getting ready for the last 4 hours. She'd taken a shower, shaved her body, put on her plush underwear, a support to keep her stomach in and leggings, dressed within the arranged equip of pencil skirt and pink pullover and cardigan and dark court shoes, culled her eyebrows a small, painted her nails, went through an age over getting her makeup right, put on her blonde wig, and showered it with essentially a can of hair splash and touched a small perfume on her neck. Even with all that, she was an hour early. She gave her wife a spin. Helen said, "I hate to tell you this, but you look great. I'll have to see how you do that with your hair. That skirt looks great on you, so I don't think you'll want to return it. It really shakes you up. Anyway, sweetheart, you look beautiful. How lovely. I just wish I looked as good." "Don't be stupid," Tracy told her. "You look 4 times better than I do." Helen said, "No, I mean it. You look great for your date, but I'll be here by myself in a baggy sweatshirt, old jeans, and no makeup. You could also put on a skirt. If you want, you could use one of mine." Helen said, "Who knows? Maybe some other time. So what coat do you have on? I was hoping you'd let me borrow that long black one." "Darling, of course you can. I like that idea. At this time of year, it can get pretty cold at night." Tracy looked at her pretty watch for women. "We have a lot of time," her wife said. "I know. I was just thinking about what to do in the next hour. You should get something to eat. Should I make you something to eat?" Tracy said, "I couldn't eat anything." "Feeling anxious?" "Yeah. I have a lot of butterflies in my stomach. I just went to the bathroom 5 minutes ago, and I'll have to go again in a minute. I'm always a little nervous before I get dressed, but today I've been terrified. Want something to drink? Dutch courage, you know." "No, Helen, thank you. Remember that we both have to drive. I don't want to get stopped by a police officer and have to explain why I'm wearing a skirt. So why don't you just sit here for a while and read a book or magazine? Sit still because you don't want to mess up your hair or makeup. I'll get you one of my magazines for women. Okay?" Tracy agreed with that. She liked reading about fashion and makeup in her wife's magazines for women. Tracy slid her skirt under her and sat down on the couch while Helen went to get the magazine. Tracy thought, maybe I can use that coat to cover my knees. My belt is a little too tight. I hope it doesn't get in there. It had been a long time since she had been so worried, even when she got married or took her driving test. She gave the watch on her left wrist another look, 6.20. She looked at the watch's second hand to make sure it still worked. It looked like it was moving so slowly. On her cheek, she had an itch. She didn't dare scratch it because she was afraid it would mess up her makeup. This business of dressing as a girl was hard. Helen brought back 2 magazines with her. Tracy took them and slowly and carefully read each one. Time went by quickly, and the next thing she remembered, Helen saying, "Come on, it's 10 past, was the last thing she could remember. Tracy went to the bathroom for the last time. Then she did one last check of her makeup. She went into the hallway and, as planned, put on Helen's long coat and grabbed her small black leather handbag. Helen said, "Just make sure you have everything." Tracy had already checked and double-checked what was in her handbag 6 times this afternoon, but she did it again. "Keys to the car?" Helen said, "Yes." "The house key?" "Yes." "Phone on the go?" "Yes." "What's up?" "Yes." "Comb?" "Yes." "Don't act like a fool, Helen." "All set?" Tracy inhaled deeply. "Yes, all right, let's go." "Tracy, best of luck, thank you." Helen got up and opened the door. Helen closed and locked the front door after the 2 women left. Tracy, it seems, walked nervously to her wife's car while Helen went to the BMW. Helen said to herself as she turned on the engine, "Please start and don't break down on me." She turned the key calmly and the engine started up. She got out of the driveway backwards and waited for Helen to follow. She went to Tesco's as planned and parked in a far corner of the parking lot. Just in case, she parked the car and locked all the doors. She was early by 5 minutes. In the rearview mirror, she could see Helen and the BMW about 5 rows back. She turned on the light inside the car and looked in her purse to find her cell phone. She looked in the address book and found Millie. Then she pressed the green button. She heard hello on the other end. "Who is Millie?" She said it in her most girly voice. "This is Tracy. How are you?" "As planned, I'm in the parking lot. Will you be there?" "Yes, that's right. In less than 10 minutes, I'll be there." Tracy ended the call, put the phone back in her bag, and set the bag down by her feet. She moved the coat around so it would cover her knees. In the dark, with only the light inside the car to see by, she looked at her makeup in the rearview mirror. She wasn't sure if it was good or not. Still, this meant that Millie also couldn't tell. She looked at the time. It had been 5 minutes since she had called her. Soon, she'd be here. The sound of an engine was heard. A car was coming up behind. "I hope that's her," Tracy said when she saw the car next to hers. Even though it was dark, Tracy could almost tell that the driver was a woman. The phone called. "What's up, Millie?" "Yes, Tracy," she said as she answered. "Is my car next to yours?" "Yes." The phone stopped working, and the driver's door of the car that had just pulled up opened. Tracy opened the door for the passenger. Millie went in when it opened. "My name is Millie. My name is Tracy." Tracy pushed the button on the dashboard to lock the car doors again, which made a loud clunk. Tracy took a close look at her new friend, noticing her face, clothes, and how she moved. Millie was staring intently back. Both girls kept quiet. Both girls didn't know what to say. Tracy was glad to see that Millie looked like the pictures she had been sent. If anything, she was a little bit more beautiful and girly. In the dark, Tracy could only see that her makeup was light and natural. She wore a black skirt, about knee length, just like Tracy. Everything made sense, like old friends getting together again after a long time. "I really like that scent." "Thanks," Tracy said. All of a sudden, she realized she was no longer nervous and that her friend's presence made her feel good. "I'm thrilled that you came." "I am too. I wanted to talk about how I was dressed with someone." Millie said, "I wish someone knew how I felt." Nikki, my wife, didn't understand why I wanted to wear a dress, makeup, and high heels when I seemed to be a guy. "I don't know why I do it. It's just what I do. I can't say why. I also can't." Tracy said, "It's impossible to explain." Helen, my wife, doesn't really like what I do either. She doesn't mind as long as I get dressed when she isn't there. So why do we do it to ourselves? The chance that our friends will find out and make us feel bad. It would be embarrassing to go into a store for women's clothes and buy a pair of women's pants or a skirt. I get it. We've both taken a huge risk by going out tonight dressed to meet a stranger. Both of us must be crazy. Millie was happy. Tracy thought, "She has a nice smile." She said he was as crazy as a March hare. But the risk is what gets me excited. Like a mountain climber or a skydiver. The danger makes it more fun. "How do you get clothes?" Millie inquired. Once the talk got going, it was easy to keep going. They had a lot in common and could talk about a lot of things. They talked about clothes. They also talked about shopping for girly things, how their wives treated them, and what websites they liked to visit. Time went fast. Helen saw that everything was fine and wrote down Millie's car number. Then she got out of the car and went to the store to do her shopping. Tracy saw her leave when she looked in the rearview mirror. She was a little bit happy. "So how did your wife learn?" Millie was asked. "I said it after we tied the knot. I felt compelled to. What do you think?" In the end, I had to tell the truth. I wasn't careful. I forgot where I put a blouse. My wife found it and thought I was seeing someone else. She needed to know. She couldn't handle it anymore, so she left. We wanted to start a family, but Nikki said she didn't want to raise kids with a weird guy. "Oh, that hurts," Tracy said. "I get it." She went to live with her mother again. I think it would have happened no matter what. Tracy put out his hand and grabbed Millie's hand. It was so simple and easy. She never once thought that the person she was holding hands with was a man underneath. She held the hand tight and looked at it closely. Millie had dark red polish on her nails. She had soft, pretty hands. They talked all night, feeling the shared love for crossdressing between them. A real friendship has emerged. Around 10 o'clock, it was getting cold, so they decided it was time to go home. Before they left, though, they made plans to meet again on Monday at the same time and place. After a long, slow goodbye, Millie got out of the car and drove away in her own car. Tracy got back behind the wheel. She started the car, turned on the lights, and drove away. "See what the cat has brought in." Tracy sneaking into the house without Helen noticing was about as likely as a snowball surviving for a few hours in fire. Helen was in the hall when her husband, who had become a woman, came in the front door. "Oh no," Tracy thought. "Well, it looks like you've had a good time. Come tell me what happened." Tracy went with Helen when she led her into the living room and told her to sit on the sofa next to her wife. "What's to drink?" Tracy nodded, and Helen filled 2 glasses with 2 big slugs of brandy. She had clearly been waiting for Tracy. She might have stayed up all night if she had to. She wore a silk nightgown over a negligee. It was a beautiful nightgown and one of Robbie's favorites. He had worn it a few times when Helen was out of town. Helen gave one of the glasses to Tracy. Helen said, "All the best." Tracy didn't say a word as she took a big drink of the brandy. "So, what are you going to say? You said you would remember." "Well, everything worked out the way you planned." She climbed into the car. "We talked for quite a long time. I gave her my hand and we hugged for a very long time. It was great. Oh, honey, I like you. You can wear a skirt, nylons, stilettos, a bra, pants, makeup, or whatever else you want. I don't care if you do that to me." "Oh, Helen," Tracy said back, "that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me." "Can I invite Millie over on Wednesday the next day?" asked Robbie. "The next Wednesday," Helen replied. "You said I could have Millie over, so I did. Is it on still?" "Yes, of course, I told you so. Would you like me to stay?" "I guess that's up to you," Robbie said. "Did you say next Wednesday night?" Robbie gave a nod. Helen said, "Yes, I'd like Millie to come here. I'd like to meet the new person in your life. I'm interested. Or if you'd rather, you can go to Millie's house. I don't care if you meet Millie, but I don't want our marriage to be put in danger, okay?" "Sure." On Monday night, Tracy and Millie met up again in the parking lot. Both of them had been at work all day, so it took them less time to get ready. "My wife has treated me very well. She has even pushed for us to meet, but I can't lie to her. Can it stay platonic?" Millie seemed upset, but she said, "Of course we can, Tracy. If that's what you want, you will get it. I know it's different for you. Even though my wife has left me, I don't want you to risk yours." Tomorrow, Nikki is coming over to see me, which is funny. Yesterday, she called me. I think she wants to talk about how to divide up the money. That shouldn't take too long. She bent down to give her friend a hug. Even though they agreed to be friends, they had a good time together. When they said goodbye, they made plans for Millie to go to Tracy's house on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Tracy was as calm and unruffled on the inside as she was on the outside. She told her wife calmly what had happened that night. "What do you think?" When Tracy came down the stairs, Helen asked her. "Wednesday night at 7:30, it was getting dark." Helen got all dolled up for Tracy's guy friend to come over. She had put on Tracy's maid outfit and fixed her face and hair. When Tracy saw what her wife was wearing, her jaw dropped. She couldn't say a word. "What do you think?" "I've been looking for a reason to try on this dress for a long time," Tracy told her wife. "You look wonderful. You don't look all that bad either. Pink is such a pretty color for girls." Tracy was red under her makeup. She was wearing a skirt and a top that were both pink. Helen was wearing suspenders and black nylons. She looked beautiful with her blonde wig and makeup. The front doorbell rang right at 8, and Helen, the maid, went to answer it. Millie, who was a little surprised by the pretty woman who answered the door, knew it was her. Millie thought, "I'd love a maid's uniform like that. I bet it's Tracy's." Helen said, Come in, come in. Surely you are Millie. I'm Helen, and I'm Tracy's wife." Millie walked into the hallway wearing a blue denim skirt and a pale blue top that was stretchy with white stilettos. Tracy showed up and said hi. "Wow, Millie," she said. "You look great. You do, too." Millie, who was impressed by her hostess, said, "And Helen." Tracy said, "Come into the lounge. Helen, could you please make us some drinks?" "Millie, what do you want?" "Please make me a vodka and lime." "Helen, could you please have 2 vodka and limes?" Helen went to the kitchen while the 2 cross-dressers went to the living room. Tracy and Millie sat down next to each other. Tracy was interested in how things went with Nikki yesterday. "Oh, she was sick and couldn't come over," Millie said with a slight sigh of relief. Helen brought the drinks, and Millie and Tracy sat down and took slow sips of their vodka while Helen went to the kitchen. The two girls talked easily for about half an hour until a cell phone rang and broke up their conversation. "Oh, that's my phone," Millie said. She picked up her purse off the ground and dug around in it until she found the phone. She said that it was Nikki. She hit a button on the phone and put it to her ear. "How are you?" "Yes." "Okay, yes. Sure. Okay. Bye." The talk didn't last long. "That was Nikki," Millie said. "She really wants to see me tonight. She wants to see me at 9 o'clock at my house. How come? I guess I'll have to leave. But Millie, you just got here. Tracy, I have to go. Don't forget that she's my wife." Tracy looked at her cute watch for girls. "What time is it? But it's already 9:30. In 25 minutes, you won't have time to get home and change out of your girly clothes. I guess I'll have to continue being a woman. Millie, don't act like a fool. Let's listen to what Helen says." Tracy got to her feet and walked to the door. She called her wife, who was still in her maid uniform when she answered. Helen said, "Yes, ma'am." Tracy told what was going on. "It's already 8:37. You don't have time to make a change. You could call her and tell her to wait for an hour." "No, I just put it together. We could come along." Helen suggested this as a kind of safety measure. "No, it's bad enough when there's only one dictator, let alone two." Helen said, "I know. Why don't I go?" "I'll go if you give me your address and house keys. I'll tell them that you can't come. She'll lose it." Millie said that it was crazy. Tracy said, "I know, but it might work. Nikki is not someone you want to meet. Helen and Nikki have a lot in common, like the fact that their husbands are both crossdressers. She can just listen, find out what Nikki wants, and come back here." Helen took off the maid's dress and put on a nice top, jacket, and knee-length skirt. 5 minutes later, she was walking out to her car with Millie's address and house keys in one hand and Millie's instructions in the other. "Surely you are Nikki," Helen said. "Come in," as she opened the door. A small, well-dressed and pretty woman walked into the hall. "Name's Helen. I'm a friend of a friend and part of the legal team for your husband." Helen liked how that sounded. She didn't know much about the law, but she knew that it would stop Nikki from talking. He couldn't come, so he asked me to come in his place. Should we take a seat? Both of them sat in the living room. Helen looked like she was taking notes by holding a notepad and a pencil. She then asked her, "What do you want from your husband?" "A split up? A temporary split? Getting divorced? I have no idea. Is the problem that she wears men's clothes?" Nikki gave a nod. "I love him a lot and don't want to leave him, but I don't like him when he's wearing a dress. What's wrong with him? Because he can't stop. It's like a need." Nikki blew her nose and tried to stop crying. Helen went on to say, "It's a part of him. One can't exist without the other. Either he brings the dressing or he brings nothing. What makes you so knowledgeable about it?" Nikki spoke up. Helen answered, "Because my husband is a crossdresser too?" "Your husband also wears men's clothes?" Nikki wanted to know. "Yes. Robbie, my husband, likes to call himself Tracy when he dresses up in a skirt, high heels, and too much makeup. You are kidding. You only say that to try to make me trust you." "Nikki, I'm not kidding, of course. Robbie is a knucklehead. He loves putting on a lot of lace and a petticoat to look like a maid. I'm not crazy about the idea, but I'm willing to deal with it. He just likes to dress up like Tracy from time to time. I'd rather he didn't. I can't act like I know why he does it. I'm not sure he gets it either." Nikki said, "Neither do I. It can be really annoying to find that he's used up all my makeup remover or lost my lipstick, that he's wearing the pants I wanted to wear today, that he's got a mark on my blouse, or that he's laddered a pair of my nylons. But I can deal with it. I married him for good or bad, and as his wife, it's my job to stand by him. I still think that you are just making this up to get me to trust you. Nikki, honey, there are a lot of cross-dressers out there, and most of them belong to men whose wives didn't know what they liked when they got married. You and I are both part of that. Do you think I was too hard on him when I broke up with him because he likes to wear skirts?" Helen said, "As a matter of fact, I do. Talk about it with him. Make a deal. Meet him where he is. Put in limits. Talk about what he can and can't do. I guess I feel like it's a slight against me as a woman. Describe it to me. You don't think I've been there, do you? Helen spoke up. What do you think he's thinking? Guilt, shame, regret, and the fear of getting caught. Has he ever dressed up as Millie in front of you? Does he call himself that? Yes, that's his girl's name. He's having a hard time and he needs the help of the person closest to him. Helen, you have a point. But now he could never take me back. Yes, Nikki, he would. I'm sure he will. Today, he told me. He wants to talk to you very much. He wants your marriage to work very much. He wants to start dating you again. He wants to meet you. Right now? How about tonight? He's not here. Close to my home. Where is it? With my husband, yes. Helen was happy. Or more precisely, with Tracy. Is he dressed up as Millie? Yes, she is also very pretty. We might be able to help there. Like, tell people what to do. Helen, do you think we should go to your house? All of us? Yes, Nikki. If you think it's okay to see your husband in a short denim skirt, a pale blue top, and white stilettos. I have to start at some point. I bet that denim skirt is one of mine that I lost last year. I'm just curious. Helen, please wait a second. Nikki stood up and walked out of the room. After 10 minutes, she came back down to change. Now, she was wearing a black skirt with pleats, black stilettos, and a black top that fit close to her skin. She put on too much makeup, but she still looked great. Helen, what do you think? Normally, I wouldn't be caught dead in something as trashy as this, but there's no way my husband will be better than me. What's good for one animal is good for another. You look wonderful. I really like that skirt. And your legs are gorgeous. You might be able to talk Millie into giving it to you. I'll call Tracy to let her know that we're coming over. Nikki came back with a tartan skirt, which Helen excitedly put on right after she put her phone away. Do you want me to help you find something to wear? Helen said, yes, please. When Millie opened the front door, she said, oh my God. Nikki, you look beautiful. Nikki said, oh my God. Is that you, Millie? You look so nice, she said. I told you. So come on in. Nikki walked into the hall and went to her husband. She gave him a big hug. She said, I'm sorry, as tears ran down her cheeks. Millie told her, there's nothing you should be sorry for. Tracy walked in and gave Helen a big hug. She said, wow, it looks like you did well. And I really like that plaid skirt. Who gave it to you? Is this something Millie has? Helen said, yes, it is. A stranger would have seen 4 women wearing skirts. They would have been happy, smiling, and bubbly. Tracy thought, all's well that ends well. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.